What's up, Boomkin guys and girls? This is Tarou, aka Tarou, and in this video I'll be showing you how to maximize your Kaboomkin DPS. For the free complete guide and many others, check out my website at tarowwowguides.com. Kaboomkins are awesome to play and definitely my favorite character ever. I hope this Boomkin DPS guide makes you want to make one or play yours more. The first thing you'll need to do to max your Boomkin DPS is spec properly. Speccing is fairly simple and usually rests on what you want to accomplish or avoid. There are many different variations to the spec I have come up with, but my overall goal is to maximize boss DPS in 10-man or 25-man raids. I won't put any points into mana regen talent simply because I don't have any mana issues. If you find yourself running out of mana, take points out of Alkin, Frenzy, and Genesis. I'll list some different talent spec choices for different situations on my website at tarowwowguides.com. Once you get your talent situated, it's time to add some glyphs. For majors, you'll want to have glyph of Moonfire, Starfire, and Starfall. These are the best single DPS glyphs available in my opinion as of 3.3.3. For minors, it doesn't matter a whole lot, but I use Glyph of the Wild and Glyph of Unburdened Rebirth in case I need to buff during a fight or B-res someone, which is more often than I'd like. I also have Glyph of Typhoon for absolutely no reason at all. Alrighty, moving on to gear. For your idol, try to get the Idol of Lunar Eclipse, which is the best. If you can't, get Idol of Lunar Fury instead. For trinkets, it can be a bit more difficult, so I'll list some of the best on my website. When choosing any gear, you'll want to consider a few things to see if it's worth it. Ask yourself, does it have the stats I need now or in the future, and what will I lose if I get it? I'm always thinking of now and the future when choosing any piece of gear. I'm also looking at cloth pieces versus the equivalent leather piece. Sorry clothies. I figured this out by calculating stats. A simple rule of thumb is hit until capped, haste until global capped, spell power, crit, haste above global cap, crit above lunar cap, intellect, and spirit. If I lose too much hit, but I know I can temporarily gem around it until I get another piece that will make up for the hit, I'll take the piece. I take such precaution because I don't want to be a prick and take a piece of gear from another player if I have no use for it. Okay, so now that you know what's priority with stats on gear, it's time to look at what the caps are for each stat. Hit will cap at 263 for Horde and 237 for any alliance with a Draenei in the raid. Haste will soft cap at 401 with a Wrath of Air totem, or 585 without. Finding the crit soft cap is a bit trickier, so I'll list the formula on my website. Once you get new gear, the first thing you'll want to do is enchant and gem it. Duh. Enchants are quite simple and should be spell power to bracers, gloves, and weapon, spell power crit to helm and shoulders, stats to chest, haste to cloak, spell power spirit to pants, and stay on minor run speed to boots. I'll list the specific names on my website. For gems, it's also easy since you'll be gemming spell power everywhere pretty much as long as you are hit and haste capped. If you're not, always choose orange gems with spell power and hit or haste, as well as put them in a socket with a decent bonus like +7 spell power. The best meta for Boomkins is the Chaotic Sky Flare Diamond. It requires 2 blue gems, so make sure to use Purified Dreadstones or purple spell power spirit gems and put them in a blue socket with a decent bonus if possible. Next, you'll want to think about which professions to choose. Tailoring tends to provide the best average benefit, and from there, jewel crafting, enchanting, leatherworking, inscription, and blacksmithing are all about the same. I chose alchemy for the extra 1 hour on my Flask of the Frost Rim, and jewel crafting for its convenience. Both are also great gold makers. Finally, the last thing to worry about is add-ons. Personally, I'm a minimalist and barely use any, but they can be quite helpful. Standard raid add-ons should be something like Omen Threat Meter, Deadly Boss Mods, and Recount. For Boomkins, it's good to have Squawk and All in Quartz. I'll list out all the links on my website as well as a brief explanation of what they do. Alright, so you got your talents, glyphs, gear, stats, enchants, gems, professions, and add-ons. It's finally time for the fun part, blasting the hell out of any boss. Before the pool, make sure you have all the buffs possible. Have Potion of Speed pots, eat a feast or self-buff any +46 spell power food, Also, make sure you have a flask of the frost rim up, and if there is only one mage in the group, ask for focus magic. Also, see if there's a shaman in the group. One of the biggest mistakes I see players make is outranging totems. Always make sure that you're in range of all totems by looking at your buff bar. After you get all that situated, to maximize your DPS on any boss, you'll want to actually use your brain and think a bit of the encounter. Ask yourself a few questions. Will I be moving a lot? Will there be things to AoE? Will I take a lot of damage? Do I expect someone to die? The last one is typically yes, someone will die and be screaming for B-res. As a Boomkin, your job to most raids is to provide a DPS buff, a B-res, and an innervate. It's okay, the mage thinking that is only good for FM, food, and water, or the shaman who's only good for bloodlust or heroism. Well, okay, back to the Boomkin DPS guide. As for your spell rotation, I personally believe there is no such thing as a Boomkin rotation. If you stick to thinking that, then you won't ever maximize your DPS potential. Sure, we have a general spell rotation, but instead think of your spells in a priority and situational sense. What do I do when? Every situation and boss is different, but there are some easy to follow rules of thumb. Start every boss encounter by casting Fairy Fire on the boss. Follow with a Moonfire, Insect Swarm, Trance, and then Wrath. As I said before though, think about the encounter. If there won't be any adds to AoE during the encounter, cast Starfall after Insect Swarm. If there will be add spawns, don't cast Starfall unless the adds won't spawn for 1 minute. Otherwise, cast Starfall once adds have spawned. Also, make sure you're using your Trents in such a way that they won't easily die and can come off cooldown just before Bloodlust or Heroism is popped. This will ensure you maximize your Trent's DPS. From there, continue casting Wrath until Lunar Eclipse procs as indicated by a blue circle above your head. Once LE procs, begin casting Starfire. Always pay attention to the proc's timer. If you can't squeeze another Starfire in before the end of the proc, this is a good time to rebuff Moonfire and Insect Swarm. It's likely Insect Swarm will be down, but if you still have Moonfire up at the end of LE, buff Insect Swarm first, then Moonfire. This will give at least an extra tick of Moonfire. After that, continue casting Starfire until Solar Eclipse procs, which is indicated by an orange circle above your head. If it seems to be taking too much time for it to proc, switch back to Wrath and spam it until Lunar Eclipse procs. In most cases during a boss, the shaman will pop Bloodlust or Heroism. During this time, you'll want to cast Wrath until Lunar Eclipse procs unless it already procs. After it procs, pop a Potion of Speed and cast Starfire the remaining duration. If you time things right, you can gain an extra Lunar Eclipse by watching your timers. Basically, while casting Starfire, you should proc a Solar Eclipse. After the proc fades, switch over to Wrath and attempt to proc another Lunar Eclipse. This is sometimes difficult to do, but worth trying. You can also save your Potion of Speed for when all your procs are up, like Trinket and Idol procs, and you're entering a Lunar Eclipse phase. Next, repeat refreshing dots at the least DPS detrimental times, which is usually when Eclipse isn't proc. Another good time to refresh dots is during any movement. You won't be able to cast, so rather than do nothing, refresh dots and cast Innervate on a healer or yourself if need be. You can also cast Glyph of the Wild for a free clear cast proc. If you have at least 2 pieces of tier 10, it will give you a buff that increases damage by 15% for 6 seconds. I also like to do what I call global cooldown moving. Basically, I'll move during a global, stop and cast, then move again. From there, it's a consistent thought process of what will come next in the encounter. Continue casting your spells at the best times and you should be topping charts in no time. This will take some getting used to and practice, but I'm sure most players can decently perfect Boomkin DPS. Finally, have fun while playing your Boomkin. Get in a groove and your spells will just flow, maximizing your DPS at the same time. Music can be a big help. Well, there you have it, a simple, okay, complex walkthrough of maximizing Boomkin DPS. There's a lot to take in, so I'll have a lot more specifics on my website at tarowwowguides.com, like talent tree, gear, add-on links, and stat suggestions, as well as where to get all the stuff. So please subscribe today and visit tarowwowguides.com for more free WoW leveling, gold, and rating guides. Thanks for watching, and see you Sunday for Taro's weekly WoW report. Now go! Tell me what you think of Boomkins and how your Boomkin DPS has improved or something in the comments section below. Personally, I love them.